What up, y'all? Today's episode is brought to you by RV Fix. Let's walk through a quick scenario. You're on your RV trip that you've been planning for months and bam, something goes wrong. Slide won't move, fridge quits, the power's out. Now, instead of cracking open a cold one, it's fixing time. Total buzzkill, right? That's where RV Fix comes in. Call 1-844-66-RV-FIX and get connected via video call with a master RV technician. No middlemen, no dealership runaround, just real help, fast. And over 40% of these issues are fixed on the first phone call. If it's more serious, we've got you. We'll order parts and get warranty approval within hours, not weeks. Then we can either ship the parts to you and walk you through the fix on a second video call, send a mobile tech from our 2,000 plus tech network, or have you drop it off at the dealership once everything's ready to roll. And even better, you get to keep your rig during this whole process. No more waiting 4 to 6 weeks for basic repairs. With RV Fix, most shop fixes are done in just 3 days. Skip the stress, call RV Fix, and get back to camping, relaxing, and making memories. Use promo code RVVoice at checkout to get a 60% discount and lock in your price for years to come. Learn more at rvfix.com. Hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. Today, we're talking about what to expect before every trip. Oh, sorry, what to check before every trip, not what to expect. A reliable pre-trip inspection checklist from full-timers, Kelly and Renee with 15 Fifth Wheeling. You should check them out right here. Check them out on their Instagram. There's their Instagram. Check them out on their Facebook. There's their Facebook and other links right here. They have a TikTok as well, and they're working on their YouTube. Sounds like it. So there's that. And then there's a reason why you should do a pre-trip checklist. And why? Because it could ruin your trip if you don't. There's certain things to look at, and they're going to walk us through that. But every trip begins with a boring checklist, so that you can stay on the road and be safe and have peace of mind going down the road. So let's bring in Kelly and Renee here. I am saying that right. It is Renee, right? It's not Renee.
Renee, correct.
Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah. That much I know. Yeah, I got that part. But all right, guys. Well, thank you again for being on here. We've had a couple other episodes. You can see them with. They'll be dropping shortly, right behind each other. So, that being said, why do you guys think a pre-trip inspection is worth the time that it takes?
We've seen a few things going down the road, or just people moving to campsite, left the awning out, the black hose dragging. So it's worth a good walk around check, inside and out.
And bottom line, you mentioned it. It's about safety, not only for us, but for those that are traveling around us. It's about safety. It's about saving you time and saving you money down the road. If you don't have a proper checklist in place, it could cost you time. It could cost you money fixing those items that get damaged that you didn't check. So Very important.
That was wonderful. That was, you did great. Crushed it.
Thank you.
Pull that one, plug it into the shorts. Perfect.
Get off staying up or getting up at 1 a.m. taking notes and preparing for this meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
We got notes and we got pages of paper. We even got a printer.
That one wasn't on the note card. You lied to me.
We are fifth wheeling now. Come on.
Oh God, that's funny. It was really funny for me. I've done all the full-time, the full-time ones. I've done a lot of those. It's funny to me when those guys, they write notes about themselves and their lives. I'm like, really? Like, you couldn't just think that on the loop? It was funny, but cool. So you guys have been doing this for 6 years. At least you've been on the road full-time for 6 years. And you guys also did a lot of camping beforehand. You had several trailers doing that. So let's start with what's your personal checklist? It sounds like you guys don't have one written out and you just go there, mark, chart, whatever it is. But what is your personal checklist before every trip? So let's start with the exterior side of things. Go.
Go. All right. Well,
go.
I do the exterior primarily.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Renee does the interior, but obviously, again, it's important. Besides hooking up the truck, obviously, you got different types of connection, whether it's a bumper pole, a fifth wheel, or whatever it may be. But mainly what I try to focus on is I don't like to have conversations. If someone comes up, I think that's the key part, whether you're setting up or departing, is you want to have peace and quiet to yourself. Don't have those interruptions, the neighbors coming over and start that chit chat. If that happens, stop your pre-check or your setup, because I could tell you some nasty stories that occur when people engage in that conversation. So do it by yourself, walk around the entire vehicle and just pay attention. It's more of a visual observation, walking around, making sure all the slides are in, obviously, all the windows are tight and closed. Make sure what type of leveling jacks or supports that you have on your trailer are all up. Before all my trips, I make sure I have the right tire pressure in all the tires. It's safety. It helps on fuel economy. I personally also check the lug nuts on them. Is very important for me, making sure that we have tight lug nuts. At least check those once a week when we're traveling. I mean, we've been traveling for the last 6 or 7 months, put on 15,000 miles. I get out, whether it's at a campground or even if I forget and then we're up the road 40 miles at a rest stop, I pull over. I did that the other day and check the lug nuts, make sure that they're proper. I look at the leaf springs, because we've had certain situations or experience where we had a broken leaf springs. Mm-hmm. Make sure all your leaf springs and your shackles are aligned properly. Again, I go to the back and I make sure that all the lights, the turn signals, the brake lights are working properly. All the storage compartments are locked and secured. We have 2 doors because it's a fifth wheel toy hauler. We have a door on the back, so I make sure that it's locked as well as the front ones. Make sure all the sewer hoses, all the hoses, the water hose, the black tank flush hoses, your sewer hoses, your electrical cords are put away properly. They're not left behind. And then I do the same thing with the truck. And again, making sure that the tire pressure secure or proper inflation on the tires. And that's it. And then what I do then,
you do a test every time before we pull away.
Well, and that's especially important for us with a fifth wheel trailer is to what they call a brake tug. Obviously, you want to have all your leveling jacks up, except for the front ones. You want them slightly down. Mm-hmm. So if it comes disconnected from the fifth wheel hitch, it doesn't come down and do damage to your bed rails or your tailgate. You want your tailgate open. You want to use either a chock under the wheels, or you could apply your brake. And I want to make sure that, the fifth wheel latch is secured. The locking pin is latched. You can't pull out the lever. And then I get in the truck and I slowly go forward using that wheel chock, and I apply the trailer brakes. And I just want to make sure that it's not going to come disconnected from that fifth wheel plate, because that has happened. We've seen that in a campground many years ago of a fifth wheel coming loose of the truck because they didn't have it connected.
Almost rolling into a camp.
So that's important. Yeah. But once I'm done, Renee's in the inside, and she'll get into the inside checklist itself. But then she comes around and just double checks, mainly the compartment doors, the windows. Everything's locked and secure.
Awnings are tight. If you have antennas, like in our old bumper pull, we had antennas that went up and down. Make sure those are down. Mm-hmm. Our vents we have the covers on them, but just make sure your vents are closed, because going down the road, a strong wind can rip those off. Yep. So, and the ladder is
up
and secure also.
Because yours is one of these, it kind of does the lockout or the lockout, toy hauler things. Question: do you guys do like brake light checks, turn signals, all that too, or no?
I mainly will turn on the hazards itself and make sure the headlights, and make sure all the lights are illuminated and working. Yes.
Okay. And lastly, propane. What do you guys do with propane? Turn off the system, or do you guys run it through for your fridge?
Well, that is kind of a hot topic of discussion.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons each way. Certainly I am not the best, but what we do have a refrigerator that will run on propane going down the road, or if you don't have shore power, or it'll run on shore power. We've been fortunate. We leave the propane going. I'm not saying that's the best, but that's what we do personally. We leave the propane on, and the refrigerator is working as we go down the road. Now, I did install a separate valve for our stove.
Yeah.
Because the gas line on our particular
Yeah.
Keystone Raptor runs along the frame like most RVs do, but when it gets to the back, it has a copper line that leaves that black pipe and goes right along the rear tire up into the kitchen. It's just a copper tubing.
So if we blew a tire
and that was on, that could be catastrophic.
Bad news.
I have put a shut-off valve over there in case something did happen with that tire, cut that line in half. There would be no gases
and
there.
we turn that off before every trip.
But other than that, I know there's pros and cons. There's people on both sides of the fence on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about propane, and you have your own shutoff valve. If you don't want your own shutoff valve, get a gas stop. A gas stop, it connects right to your cylinders, and if you were to have a major leak like a blowout tire, and that it'll kill gas like that. 100% shut off because of a major leak. You can do minor leak tests as well, but also doing I have a just shut off valve for that. That's another good idea. So awesome. Well, that kind of covers the back end. The whole outside of things. There's a couple things that I didn't really think about all that. So thank you for all those. And let's move on to the interior. Sounds like it's Renee's specialty.
Yeah. He's usually outside and I'm inside. So
Perfect.
It's mainly, I just go and all the counters have to be clear. So some things will go into the sink, the kitchen sink. We buy twist ties and we put those on cupboards that have double handles. Like you'll see this cupboard back here that has 2 handles. I'll put a twist tie on that.
Gear ties.
We had one cupboard going down the road one time come open and the bag of flour busted and blew up everywhere. So that was, luckily it was kind of contained because the slide was in. But so I make sure counters are clear. I twist tie double door handles. Make sure from the inside all the vents are closed. Sliding doors, like normally your bathroom door, the shower door, you want to make sure those are latched. Toilet seat lid down. And then I make sure the floors are all cleared. I know people with younger kids, you gotta make sure like if you have Legos or anything like that are under the slides. And then you bring those slides in.
Good point.
So we do that. And let's see what else. I was trying to think here. Oh, and then if you have like your TVs on inside, we have straps that you have to put because most of the TVs are on an arm. You don't want those swinging. Usually I'll put the blinds up also so that the blinds aren't kind of swinging going down the road. And then most of the decor I have on there with like, what do you want to call it? Scotch guard, the strips, Velcro strips. So all our decor is like Velcro strips. And then like here above cupboards, you'll see there's enough of a ledge that I don't have to worry about those or take them down. So, and then most of my decor is baskets. So if it falls, I don't have to worry about anything breaking. But, and then basically just make sure your fridge doors are shut tight. I know some people add an extra device that kind of like screws between the 2 doors to keep them from opening. Luckily ours, we haven't had a problem with those. And then the door into our garage, you make sure that's secure.
Shower door.
Yeah, our shower doors are 3. And so it's got a latch. So you want to make sure that's latched because it's glass. And then the sliding door between the shower and the bedroom, we added an extra latch to that one to make it more secure. But so that's pretty much it on the inside. You want to make sure all mechanicals are off, like your air's off, heat's off, water heater, water pump, all that's turned off before he disconnects the electric. And that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Question on this. There's one bullet here that talks about the fire extinguisher. Do you guys know do you know where it's at?
Yes, we got 2 of them. One
nice.
is an easy access by the back door of the RV. Again, it's a toy hauler. And the other one used to be by the front door, but I put it in the back seat. Easier to get to in case something happens. It's right there, right behind me. I could grab it. If the front door or the back door is on fire, at least I have something externally to help maybe extinguish some of the flames or the fire. So I have it right behind my seat.
Perfect. Well, pre-trip inspection, that kind of covers it. There was one in here that said, this is actually for like when going on a camping trip. You guys are with the full timing. You're going from, trip to trip all the time. You're always tripping, right? But what about, I know what I said, but yeah, I know what I said. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. Appliances functioning. So when you're leaving on an RV trip and you're not a full timer that uses these things often, it's probably a good thing to check your water system. Make sure your lines are actually working. You pressurize them. Make sure no major leaks or anything. You make sure your water pump is working, water heater as well. But also appliances. Make sure they're functioning properly, because a bad fridge can ruin a trip. And no AC can ruin a trip. You can get by without a microwave, right? You can just use a skillet outside or whatever it may be. And then obviously a heater if you're going in the colder months. So that's just a tip that I could think of for like non-full timers, people just going on a road trip or something like that. Other than that, what other tips do you think you would do during your pre-checklist?
Well, and when we were weekenders, we used to get the fridge going ahead of time. So then it was cool enough, then we could load it for the trip. So you want to, some have it where their camper's plugged in where they store it, or others don't. So you just would want to get your fridge and freezer going ahead of time before you needed to put all your food in it.
Perfect. So we talked about, go ahead.
And something that just came to my mind, not necessarily trip inspection, but something that's important and it's always in the news, unfortunately, recently, is make sure you check. You talked about the appliances, your fire alarms, your smoke alarms. Make sure you have batteries in those, up-to-date batteries, as well as testing your carbon monoxide detector, which is right below us as well. Make sure those items.
And the propane one.
Absolutely. And then also you talked about fire extinguishers and safety. Something that's important is to know which windows, and when you have guests staying with you, which windows are those emergency escape windows. You may not know yourself. Take a look, find those. You'll be surprised where they're at. Easy to locate, easy to get out in case you need to have an emergency escape plan.
And if you have kids, make sure they know how to operate them.
Very important.
Exit.
Yeah.
Usually
Exit.
Yeah.
Windows usually
Big red
open
exit.
up. Yeah, very important. So, good point.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so like checking, you mentioned a couple things. Do a brake test check. That was a good one. A brake tug. Brake tug. Just make sure it's all functioning, and then don't lower your jack or raise your jacks all the way when you're doing so, because it could slip off the hitch. And make sure your hitch is up and connected properly. I've actually had a boat slip off of my hitch one time. I thought it was completely on the ball. It was not. I got a nice little V in my bumper. Luckily, didn't do much. It tore up the trailer brakes, so I didn't drink many beers that day on the boat, but that's okay. I was very safe. I'm a very safe driver. But safety gear, other than like fire extinguishers, you guys have, I'm guessing you have jumper cables, you have some tools. You guys probably don't use road flares, or like you have like road triangles or anything, cones or anything.
Yes, we got 3 reflective collapsible triangles,
and we have reflective vests that we put on too if we have to repair a flat tire or something on the side of the road.
Perfect. This is wonderful. You guys are crushing it. You guys know everything. So last question here before we kind of close it out here. What's one time you didn't check something and it kind of bit you and you paid the price?
Oh.
Well, you mentioned the flower episode.
Yeah.
Make sure all
I had speaking of that, I was working on my motorcycles in the garage one time, and I think it was liquid wrench. It fell off the whatever the, what do you call those things? Island? Not an island. What do you call that? Bench.
Workbench.
Call it a bench. It fell off the bench and it exploded. So I had liquid wrench all over, and it's a foam and it turns weird. Yeah, I'm sure you know. Yeah. But it was everywhere in my garage. I'm like, because it poked a hole in it. It went, everywhere. So I can imagine what flour would do because it's real fine.
And I will say though, I mean, I think with the two of us, like I do inside, he does outside, but then we kind of both double check. Cause just the other day, Kelly was like, Renee, you forgot to unplug the internet and it was sitting on the dresser. And there was one other thing I forgot and he caught it. And then sometimes I'll be like, Kelly, these outdoor storage compartments aren't locked. So I think it's just, even though I do inside, he does outside, then we kind of double check each other. So I can't think of something that we forgot and then it caused something. But I will say there are always going to be things that happen no matter what. Like if you go down a rough road, I mean, there's some sections like, you know, north of Dallas and Kentucky and different places. And you're like, oh, that's going to be bad. And so when you go to open the camper, you're like, what are we going to find today? So one day was flour. One day the whole shower mechanism fell off the wall. I mean, one time we had the mattress on the loft in the garage slid off and hit. We wondered, we're going down the road and we're like, our backup camera just went off. Well, it's because the mattress came off the loft and hit the wall and turned the backup camera off. So, I mean, it is very important to do the checklist, but just know, I mean, it's like an earthquake going down the road every day. So things are going to happen. And you just, you know, it's just the name of the game. So
you're darn right. It's not if, it's when. It will happen. Something will happen. You guys will have to take care of it. And if so facto, you do need to take care of it. Call RV Fix. Yes.
That's
look at me go. Yes. You can use promo code 50. And they will walk you through it. About 40% of the calls that come through, we can walk you through the problem on their first phone call. If so facto, we have to help you further than that. We can order parts and get warranty approved within hours. And then we can ship them to you or your next spot, wherever you're going to be. Or we can ship them to you, or ship them to a dealership, and you guys schedule a time to come in there. Or we can send a mobile tech out to you. Or you can hop on another video call and get walked through that issue if you're willing to roll up your sleeves. Or you can call Kelly. So
that's right.
That's what's impressive. Did you say 40%?
Yeah.
On the first call? That's a big number.
It is. So like, there's obviously some people that aren't willing to roll up their sleeves. So like if so facto they are, it's usually like 43 to 45% about that first time around. But with people that are like willing to roll up their sleeves is more like closer to 50 because there's certain things. There's a lot of there's user error and it's like a minor fix, but some of the stuff, especially if it involves major electrical, we can still walk you through electrical, but when it's gas, we can't walk you through gas. It's more of a liability issue. So yeah, it's not bad, right?
That's great.
It's an awesome option to have when you're going down the road, especially if you're not handy. You know, a lot of people aren't handy. So just to have that and know in the back of their mind, if anything happens wherever they are, they can just call, and it's just a great concept. I love it.
Yeah, no more scouring the internet for hours. You know, I picture this as like calling my dad, you know, for anything. Yeah. If it pertains to anything engine, electrical, dad. So RV Fix, you can call it RV Dad, whatever. That'd be kind of funny.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, cool. That was an awesome little pre-trip checklist from Kelly and Renee with 50 and Fifth Wheeling. Again, you guys can follow them on all their links here. They got other stuff in there. You guys got promo codes and other affiliate codes in there, I'm assuming?
Yes, we do.
Perfect.
Yep. In our bio.
So check that out. I'll put all these links within the description of these videos, but there's other videos too that are coming out. We're going to try and cater to everybody, not just full-timers from moving on. I know I talked about that at the beginning, but full-timers are the experts in this game. And that being said, I'm not the RV voice. So Kelly and Renee, would you please do it together this time?
All right. Stay tuned for more from the RV voice. Thanks, JB.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Woo!